Do you want to go back outside, buddy? Yeah? Or you want to go outside and go sit outside? Come on, let's go. Come on, go outside. Oh, turn the heater down, Heather. You forgot to turn the heater down. Let's see if he wants a bone outside. You want a bone? You want a bone? Probably gonna have to dry my hair. Daggum. I don't want my hair to get bent, so I want my bangs to be in the right place when I put my shit back. My day is going pretty darn good. I just finally I posted a short on my way out of the house that I work at. Her cat was outside meowing, and I was like, damn, dude, I'm going to get this kitty. She wants attention. I'm going to get her. I'm going to pet her, and then I'm going to put her inside where she belongs. And I successfully got her to let me pet her, and that is fucking awesome because she's really doesn't like people like very much. No, I don't want to hang out with your cousin. No, thank you anyway. It's a lovely offer, but my hair has been dreadlocked since 2010, maybe 2011. We're trying again. We're on day 2 of just trying to cast on the stitches that I need in order to do this project. I'm going to watch a couple other videos and see if there's any other way to cast on that's like not so slippy. So I think I'm going to try the German twisted long tail cast on. What happened? Oh my god, my dog's outside playing with his bone like a good boy. Oh, that makes me so happy. My dog's outside throwing his bone for himself. Maybe I should put the smaller... Maybe I should put the smaller needles here. I think I'll do that. Let me just swap out that.
A lot more to what...
As someone whose tax dollars helped pay for killing all those civilians in Gaza, I feel like I have a right to know how many were killed, and Israel won't let outside observers in to figure it out, and I'm frustrated. I just want to say that. My last question is about Christians, both Christians who visit and Christians who live here, particularly in the West Bank. I spoke to someone recently, a Christian minister who grew up in a town right outside Bethlehem. We would know it as Shepherd's Field, in the New Testament, where of course the angels come and announce the arrival of Jesus in nearby Bethlehem. His family's been Christian, he says, for 2,000 years. He says where he grew up is now surrounded by settlements of people who are not from Israel at all. A lot of them are from the United States. Jewish settlements. They have different roads that the native Christians are not allowed to use. I don't quite know how that works. And he described a story where his mother was shot outside their house by an IDF soldier for reasons no one ever explained. She survived, but no one was ever punished for it or even explained why they did it. He basically described being terrorized by settlers. And I wonder if that's a concern for you, for the native population, the indigenous population.
Did you say this happened in Bethlehem?
It happened in Shepherd's Field, so it's a Christian village. Bet Sahur, I think, is its name. Right outside Bethlehem.
If it's in Bethlehem,
it's not in Bethlehem. I think it's Bet Sahur, I believe, is the name of the village.
Because there are no Israelis in Bethlehem, none. There are no Jews in Bethlehem.
Are there new settlements outside Bethlehem where he is from?
Over in Area C, but not in Area A. There are none.
Well, he describes the town he grew up in, and I guess I wonder why a Christian whose family's been there for 2,000 years.
There are Palestinian Christians throughout Judea and Samaria. That's true. I've been over to visit them. I go there regularly.
I know you have, and some have been,
we've advocated for some that are Muslim, but they're American citizens, and we advocated because there was...
But why can't they just drive into Jerusalem to go to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre? Why do they need a permit to do that if they're from there?
Because of the acts of terrorism that has made it impossible to do it. You know how many suicides... No.
Let me... Christians.
You asked this question. So what do we do? Just say you're a Christian? Oh, yeah, I'm a Christian, but you're wearing a suicide bomb?
Do Christians do suicide bombs?
They could. If all they have to do is just announce I'm a Christian. There were over 1,000...
Why not just get an identity card that says I'm Christian?
Let me just finish this. Before Israel put the green line up, and before they took great care to put checkpoints in place, there were over 1,000 suicide bombers in 1 year.
It was awful. I remember it, but I don't think any of them were Christians, and
they may not have been.
Okay, but my point is, we could find out if they were.
So you're saying we just trust somebody if they come up and say I'm a Christian, I just want to go to the Holy Sepulchre, let me in?
What I'm saying is that Christians have a right to go to the Holy Sepulchre. Israel does not own it. They've had possession of it since 1967. It doesn't belong to Bibi. It belongs to me and you and every other Christian.
Bibi was probably a young person. I'm not even sure he was.
No Christian should ever be barred from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Should Christians be barred from Joseph's tomb in Nablus?
I don't know. Let's just start with the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Okay, let's start with the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
And I don't understand on what grounds they
can go to
barred. Well, they can't if they're Christians at Bet Sahur. So I don't understand why they're a threat. They're not a threat. And why won't you, as the Christian minister, U.S. ambassador to the state of Israel, say to the prime minister, you can't allow this? Your country exists in part because American Christians support you, so you have to treat us well.
Part of the problem, Tucker, is that in the Palestinian Authority, and that's what we're talking about, there are Christians. Look, I know some Christians who live in Bethlehem, and that is Area A. Bethlehem was 80+% Christian before Oslo. 80% Christian, less than 20% Muslim. Today it's flipped. It's now 80+% Muslim. It's very few Christian. And some of the Christians that I personally know and know well are Zionist. Let that surprise you. They're Zionists. They're hardcore Zionists.
And some are
Let me finish
really
my train of thought here.
Okay.
So in the Palestinian Authority, they still teach children from the time they're 5 years old that the greatest thing in the world is to kill Jews. And that if they end up being a martyr, and if they kill Jews, they will get a pension for life if they die. And if they don't, they'll get a paycheck for life, and their families will. And it's called the Prisoners and Martyrs Fund. We call it Pay for Slay in the U.S. It is against our law.
A lot of Christians collecting on that?
I don't know.
Zero. So my question remains, and I'm a little bit frustrated at this point, because I'm not defending Hamas. I hate suicide bombing. I hate suicide. I hate violence. I hate the killing of children, period. Why can't a Christian who was born there, whose family's been there for 2,000 years, following Jesus for 2,000 years, drive, because it's really close, to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre? He poses no threat. And why can't the United States government advocate for him to do that?
We do advocate for Americans because that's our job. And it doesn't matter whether they're Palestinian or Israeli. We do that. But as far as when they...
How many Americans are being held in Israeli prisons right now?
Total, I don't have an exact number on that. I don't know.
How can you advocate for them if you don't know how many there are?
Well, everyone that we know, we go visit. Our consular goes there almost every week and visits the Americans. It's not a large number as far as Americans, but when we have them, we go to their trials when they're on trial. So yeah, we do a lot more than you've given us credit for.
Oh, I'm giving you credit. No, you
okay,
understand.
please.
I'm giving
Thank
you
for
credit
doing that because we don't get much.
No,
we don't get much.
By the way, not every embassy does that. I happen to know for a fact they don't advocate for Americans in jail. And
we take our consular services across into the Palestinian Authority and help people over there. Some of those are Christians, some are not, some are Muslim. But if they're Americans and they have American citizenship with an American passport, we help them.
That makes me so happy to hear.
I go to Ramallah. I sit down with the vice president and the prime minister of the Palestinian Authority. We try to work ways to make things better. But the reason that sometimes it's not just an absolute free passage, I'll tell you why, because there are too many incidences of terrorist acts, and Israel is not going to allow themselves.
But the Christians didn't do it, and they're not going to do it, and Christians pay for all of this. They pay for a lot of
this. It's
you
can say it's unfair, but here's...
You can't punish the innocent. How's that?
But you got to somehow make sure that you screen people, and that's why the checkpoints. Let me tell you what happened not too very long ago.
Okay, so but once you screen the person and see that they're Christian, they should be able to go, right? Like, you're just not letting them go at all.
He was a former Jordanian military person. He came across the checkpoint. Everything should be fine, right? He gets out of his truck, he takes a gun, and he shoots two of the people,
I believe it,
who are the Israelis at the checkpoint, one of whom was a young person, less than a year in the job. His mother teaches in the American school where our embassy people go in Herzliya. I get to make the phone call to the mother. I'm going to tell you something. It was not the most pleasant day of my life.
It sounds awful.
It is awful. And so those kind of incidences are the reason that it is difficult to go from Judea, Samaria, or the West Bank, call it whatever you want. But if you're in Area A, which is under the control of the Palestinian Authority, and your education has been that killing Jews is a wonderful thing.
I'm talking about the Christians.
And but the Christians, if they go to those schools, they're still going to get that education.
When was the last time there was a suicide bomb detonated by a Christian?
I don't know.
Never. Let me ask you this.
Look, I'm not trying to defend, but I'm saying to you that if the curriculum doesn't get changed, if the pay for slay doesn't get changed,
that doesn't apply.
You have a culture. Well, you say it doesn't apply. Maybe it never has happened. I don't know whether it has ever happened.
When will Palestinians in the West Bank have the same rights as Israelis in the West Bank?
Are you talking about the ones that live in the Palestinian Authority?
I'm talking about people who live in the villages they grew up in.
Yeah,
It
but
changed hands, went from one
Tucker,
government
it
to
makes
another
a
in
difference whether they live under the
1967.
Palestinian Authority government or whether they live under Israeli. If they live under Area A, do you know the difference?
I do.
Okay.
I'm saying
If they live under Area A, they live under the Palestinian Authority government. They don't live under Israeli government.
but it's controlled by the Israeli government completely. There's no airport. They control the utilities. I mean, it's silly. I understand there's a form of self-government, but the big decisions are made by the Israeli government, obviously. I've been there. I know this. And you know it too. So how long does this go on? You say that God gave the nation of Israel the right to this land. Why not just take it, declare it Israel, and make everyone a citizen? I don't understand why that's not happening.
Well, you know what? There are people who think that that would be a much better
Well, what
future.
do you think?
I think it very well could be. And if you ask certain people living in the PA under their very corrupt government, where 91% of the people think the government is hopelessly corrupt, that's what the numbers are, they would tell you that they would be better off
Well, sure,
if the Israelis were the governing authority.
Everyone gets voting rights. Would that be the case?
If they were all under Israeli authority. You know, do you realize there are lots of Arab Israelis?
I know.
And they vote. Do you know they serve in the Knesset?
I'm very aware of that. And I'm just wondering.
And they serve on the Supreme Court. And did you
You're
know
not. We're still not talking about the Christians who live
former president and prime minister
in
to prison?
Betzahur
I
who
know
want
this
to
would be fun. I
go
just wanna know what's
to
gonna
the
happen.
Church of the
How
Holy
many Jews
Sepulchre.
get to help govern Saudi
They're
Arabia
not
or
allowed,
Qatar?
even at checkpoints.
or
They aren't
Syria.
allowed to
I'm not-
cross.
But
is the
wait a
not
minute.
attacking
This
Jews.
is
I'm
a
just
much
saying-
more open government in society, and you make it sound like that the
I don't make it
Israelis.
sound that way. I'm just asking. I'm not attacking the nation of Israel. I'm just wondering what the plan is. So I've been hearing my whole life how bad the PA is. Okay, great. But what's the plan here? So they're moving all these Americans, people from around the world, into settlements subsidized by Americans in the West Bank.
And they're not moving them from around the world to the settlements. They're people who make Aliyah. They come.
I'm just
and
saying.
these are Israelis who live in Israel.
Well, there are a lot of people.
And
who
Area
come-
C is Israel.
Okay.
Okay.
But does it remain a territory under military control forever? Does it just become part of the state?
You're talking about the Palestinian Authority?
Correct.
That's the big question. Do you believe in the two-state solution? And if you do, I would show you a map, and I would ask you, because this is.
I don't know. I don't know what I think. I just think
right.
you need to treat people like human beings, and that's not happening, obviously.
And that would be, you don't glorify their killing.
Yeah, let them go to their church if they want.
See the yellow parts?
Yeah.
That's Palestinian Authority. The tan parts, that's Area B. That's the area that is mixed. Israel has military authority, but the Palestinians can live anywhere they want to in there. And the blue
Whatever's
area,
left,
that's
you
Area
mean?
C.
Yeah.
Area C is Israel. And Israelis can live in Israel. That's what it is. Now, when people say they want a two-state solution, I love to show them a map like this. And I ask them, where does that state line up? There is no contiguous
I don't
way in
know.
which it works.
We've got a lot of states in the United States that need help, so I'm not going to weigh in on other people's states. To be
Fine.
totally honest, I just don't want to pay for it anymore, and just want to fix our own country. But let me ask you one last question, which is how Christians are treated in Jerusalem. I've talked to so many who've been spit on. I
Really?
talked to
So many? How many?
2 yesterday.
2. Okay.
Yeah, both Catholic clergy, and
Yeah.
both told me the same thing. Anglican clergy, I interviewed.
I just had dinner recently with a Greek patriarch.
Well,
What's
there've
that
been a
got
million
to do with
stories about
anything?
this.
Yeah, I know that there are.
Everybody
instances
knows
where
that
Christians
Jewish
get
people
heckled.
spit
Usually it's
on
people who are wearing
Christians.
clerical robes and they're wearing crosses, and it shouldn't happen. It's horrible. It's as bad for that to happen as it is to spit on somebody wearing a kippah in New York City.
I agree.
Terrible. It's horrible.
And actually,
But-
to be fair, there is,
Yeah.
and I just learned this, a Jewish Israeli group that keeps track of Christians being spit on in Jerusalem because they're offended by it. And God bless them for keeping track and for being offended by it. But there are an awful lot of examples of that. And my question to you, you're against it, of course, you're Christian clergy.
horribly against it.
What is
But
that?
so is the prime minister, the president, the foreign minister. So is.
I get it.
I think
If
every.
they were
no one
the
would
prime
defend it
minister
in
or the
person.
president
What
were
is it?
against it,
Why are
wouldn't
they
they
spitting on
like
Christians?
very limited.
say
It's
something
very,
like
very
stop?
isolated.
Where does it come from?
But for the most part, you know what? As Christians, we have freedom of movement here. Tucker, I go to church every Sunday. I play
Please answer
bass
my-
guitar in my church band.
I get it.
I don't get hassled being a Christian. Everyone here knows I'm the first evangelical to be ambassador to Israel. Do you think they hate me here?
Yes.
No.
Are evangelicals recognized by the state of Israel?
Well, no, because you're
Yeah.
up their ass and
They
you're
are.
doing what
Yeah.
they want.
and welcomed and appreciated.
No, but like as a religious, like, are there evangelical churches in Israel?
My gosh, yes. There's 184,000 Christians in Israel.
I know. And
Evangelical.
but there are churches that are non-denominational evangelical here.
Of course, there are, and it ranges from, when you say non-denominational, some of them are affiliated Baptist Assembly of God. Some of them are truly non-denominational, Pentecostal. Some are Messianic churches,
Right.
where most of the people are ethnically Jewish, but they are Messianic.
Yes.
They believe in Jesus. There are a lot of those churches, and they're spread out all over Israel.
So,
but there's freedom.
You don't. Oh, I know a lot of Christians in Israel, by the way. Yes, and as I said, I really hope I can come back and talk to more. But
And come to church with me.
oh, I definitely would love
Okay.
that. Why? And I mean it too.
Yeah.
Why would people spit on? Like, where does that come from?
I think
Do
it's
you know?
from an evil heart.
Yeah.
What else would it be?
I agree.
I mean, I don't think anybody would ever spit on another person, even if it was, I don't care what a person's religion is or what a person's nationality is. I don't hate anybody. I wouldn't spit on anybody. I wouldn't heckle
agree.
anyone. And I find it repulsive. Nothing about it is defensible.
I will say that this was off camera, but I interviewed this Christian leader here, and I said, "Oh, that's so awful." And he goes, "I feel blessed because Jesus was spit on, and it's an opportunity for humility for me."
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's a Christian.
Let me say this. I've been coming in and out of Jerusalem and Israel for soon to be 53 years. Before I came as ambassador, I made over 100 trips here. I've never been spat on.
Good.
I've never had someone yell at me. I've never had an experience where I felt uncomfortable or that I was unwelcome.
If you spit on someone wearing a yarmulke in New York City, you go right to jail. They would not put up with that for 1 second. And they do put up with it here because it still happens.
I'm not sure they do go to jail in New York City. They should. And they should go to jail here.
I'm against it.
They should go to jail here.
Amen. So there were all these Christian ministers who were brought over here, evangelicals, in December. And I think mostly to attack me, but also probably they had other...
Oh, they really weren't here to attack you.
I'm just joking. They were attacking me, but whatever.
Yeah.
But they were flown over by the state. The state paid for it, and they had a conference here. I got one of the guides that they received when they arrived, and I think it's real. And it says, "Don't preach about Jesus when you're in Israel. We don't allow that. Don't do that."
Really?
Yeah. Why would a Christian minister agree not to preach about Jesus?
I'm not sure, because I've never heard someone tell another Christian minister not to do that.
Interesting. Good. Well,
Yeah.
I was totally baffled.
What would be the purpose of going to church as a Christian if you didn't talk about Jesus
Couldn't
here?
agree more. Thank you.
I can assure you that the church I attend, we talk about Jesus. I mean, we pray in the name of Jesus.
No,
So I don't get it.
To anyone else outside the church, are you allowed? Like, could I stand in the corner and just tell people about Jesus here?
You could. I'm not
But
saying you'd
you-
get applause or that people
Right. That's fine.
But
Would
but
you
I'm
go to
saying there are
jail?
people that
There's no
that I
law
see,
against that, though.
not that I'm aware of. The only laws that I know of, you can't proselytize someone under the age of 18, and you cannot offer people things of value in order to cause them to listen to your presentation. For example, I can't say, "Hey, for $10, would you let me give you this gospel tract and scream at you?" Can't do that. I don't know if it's enforced. I'm not sure. I don't ever hear anyone arrested for it.
But there's no law against just like preaching to
Walk
people.
down to the old city. You'll hear people, out there preaching on the street.
Good.
Now, are they effective? I don't know. I'm not sure that people are stopping and falling on their knees and saying, "Oh, this is what I've been waiting for." I don't know. But what I'm telling you is that the idea that you can't say it, I know that there are places in the rest of this region where you can't do that.
For sure.
Yeah. Qatar, you can't wear a cross in public.
For sure.
You can't pray in public.
I've
Christian
seen a lot
prayer.
of people wearing crosses in Qatar, but
In
I don't
Qatar?
know. I have,
Publicly?
but I don't know what the laws are. Yeah,
In Saudi Arabia? Don't think so.
I doubt it.
The one place is an exception is the Emiratis, and I love those folks because they are so progressive, and they're doing so many things
All right.
to change the template
Now that we have
for
the
things.
smaller-
They have a Abraham house that is a combination synagogue, church, and mosque. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? That they have the same building and they use it for all three of the major religions of the world. And I think that's incredible. But they're really trying to do
Forgot about you.
that
Sorry.
are beyond what anyone else in the region. They changed their textbooks. They teach that Israel is not a nation they should hate or seek to annihilate. They've done some remarkable things.
Have you been following all this stuff in the
Highly educated films,
You've been following all
aka
this, like,
snooty.
the Muslim stuff going on in the United
Bye,
States on the
loser.
right?
Don't talk to my people in my chat like that, you fucking asshole. Get out of here. Highly educated films, my dick.
Hate is an evil thing.
If you were highly educated, you wouldn't talk to people
sometimes you
like
say, "I
that.
don't support
Highly educated
child killing."
people
Okay, I
don't
don't
waste
either,
their
but I don't support
time
hate
talking
in
to
any
others
form.
that way.
I think it's a horrible thing.
That is such a great standard, and I want to hold myself to that. And thank you for saying that out loud.
I don't hate you.
All right, let's do it.
I hope not. Governor, Ambassador, thank you very much for spending all this time. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I'm glad you came.
Oh.
Please come back.
I will
Go with me to some places and to church. I want you to see that as Christians, we're pretty free here.
Amen.
Appreciated
Thank you.
and welcome.
You're watching The Legal Breakdown. Glenn, we've all heard the news that Prince Andrew was arrested for charges related to Jeffrey Epstein over in the UK, and a lot of people lamented the fact that nothing was happening right here in the US, but that's not exactly how you see it. So can you give a little update as to how the arrest of Prince Andrew in the UK can actually have major implications on American politicians right over here?
Brian, the minute I saw
How to do the German twisted cast on. Hi everyone.
I just want
my
you to
name
show
is
me really
Norman.
quickly. I don't want you to give me a whole.
Tail cast on. This technique should be a breeze to learn. If you're a new knitter, this might take a few tries, but won't cast on. So the first thing you'll want to do is, because it's similar to the long tail, you're going to have to leave a long yarn tail, which means in this case, I like to leave 3 to 4 times the length of yarn than the cast on edge I'm planning to make. So if my cast on edge is about this big, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and a little bit extra for luck. Then you'll add a slip knot and put the slip knot on one of your knitting needles. You only really need one for this cast on, so I'm going to take this other one out of here for now. All right, the next step is to have your yarn strand and your yarn tail coming to your left. If you're a right-handed knitter, if you're a lefty, swap it. The movements will still be the same for either hand. In this case, I'm a right-handed knitter, so I've got my left hand free. Wrap the yarn around your pinky, and then you're going to insert your fingers between these 2 strands, making a diamond shape. Okay? The next step, you open your palm towards you, and this is where it starts to get a little bit different than the long tail cast on, if you're familiar with that.
Okay.
So you'll take your knitting needle,
You
and
go
you're going to
under both.
slide it up underneath both strands on your thumb.
Right.
Then you're
Go
going to
through
hook
the
it.
center.
What I like to do is I like to point it to the pad of my thumb and just trace my thumb down. So you're grabbing the inside strand around your thumb and
This
pulling
is a
that
little
down
bit too beginner for me.
and up. So you've just hooked the inside yarn strand. You're going to come around and grab your finger yarn and pull it through that opening. It's twisted right now, so what I like to do is kind of twist my thumb a little bit towards the finger to open up enough space to bring that knitting needle down and through and up. And then you let go of your thumb loop and pull it back open again. So let's do that again. You're going underneath both thumb strands, touch your thumb or finger strand and pull it through the opening. And then let go of your thumb and then open up your yarn again. And that little bit of difference between this and the long tail cast on makes it just a little bit stretchier, which is interesting. And that shows that a lot of knitting techniques are very similar, but small changes can make a big difference. You pull it down and drop it off. Do it one more time, but fast, so you can see how fast it can be with a little bit of practice. Once you get the hang of it, you should be able to cast on pretty quickly. And that is how to work.
All right, and then you just do the opposite. Okay, so under both, through, grab. It's easier with like a big fat yarn. Where's my tail at? Let's come over here. What am I doing wrong already? I just watched her do this like 8 times. Like, how am I doing this wrong?
Slide it up underneath both strands on your thumb. Then you're going to hook it. What I like to do is I like to point it to the pad of my thumb and just trace my thumb down. So you're grabbing the inside strand around your thumb and pulling that down.
Do you go up and over?
So you
Oh,
put
okay.
inside
Okay.
your strand. You're going to come around and grab your finger yarn and pull it through that opening. It's twisted right now. So what I like to do is kind of twist my thumb a little bit towards the finger to open up enough space to bring that knitting needle down and through and up. And then you let go of your thumb loop and pull it back open again. So let's do that again.
Got it.
You're going underneath both thumb strands.
Okay. Okay, so we go up and over and around. So that means the opposite is true. Up and over and down. And then grab something right there. Okay. I have to figure out how to do it the opposite way because I need to purl. All right, so up. All right, we go over and down. So we go over and down, and then grab this. No, what are you doing wrong, girlfriend? Okay, let's watch a purl.
How stockinette stitch. If you knit across, your cast on edge will look like this.
I'll be right there!
Stitches, which is still pretty and I guess very easy to adapt to. But what happens if you want to knit ribbings or other patterns with a mix of knit and purl stitches? Well, in this case, you may want to consider alternating between casting on knit and purl stitches to create an extra neat edge. And I guess I have to warn you because from here, things get a bit funky. So, just like before, you start with a simple slip knot and in this slingshot position. But now you don't...
Look at how he's got it. Okay, hold on. So he's going like that. All right.
Go around the loop here, around your thumb. Instead, you go around the loop here, around your index finger. And then you insert from the top, get out here, and then grab the yarn towards your thumb, untwist that loop, and pull through. Tighten up. Let's do that one more time. So go all the way around the loop around your index finger. Insert your knitting needle coming from the top.
Got it.
Exit here.
It's cold in here now. I figured it out. What shows am I into these days? Honestly, I'm just not really watching a lot of shows these days. Okay, so every single solitary time. Every time. And now, instead of being able to do this, now that I'm ready to do it, now I have to stop for 20 minutes while I give my cat attention. Fucking shit. Hello. I love you. I'll put your butthole on camera. I love you. You my mama? Are you my mama? I love you. Nice. I gotta go get Orly. He's outside. He's ready to come inside. Can I go get the dog? Can I go get the dog? Can I go get Orly? You think that'd be alright? No? No, I can't go get the dog? Why not? Why not? He's outside. He wants to come inside. Let's go get the dog. Okay. Come on, let's go get him. I got treats. Who's got the treats for the boy? The mama. Hold on, wait. Okay, there you go. Watch out, you're gonna get your butt on fire. Alright, go lay down in Orly's bed. Go. Orly's bed. Go. Get in Orly's bed. Go. Go ahead. Good boy. Good boy. He got in his bed because he's a good boy. Okay. No, that's not for you, dog. All right, let's try this again. You come lay down. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Good Lord, that's confusion. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, bitch, got it. 11. really wish I could get my hands to do that thing where it just like goes there where it's still. Okay, let's start over now that we have a good idea of what we're doing. Okay. Okay, knit. Purl. Knit. I don't think Jesus is going to be using some guy named Steve Penkowski to reach me at any point. If Jesus wants my attention, he knows where to find me. It's literally right here, okay? And I'm pretty sure that Jesus is aware of the close relationship that I have with God. If Jesus is an all-seeing, all-knowing, God-like being. So, there's that. Right, Jamie? It's weird. People are weird. People are weird when they have nothing to do or nothing going on for themselves. People hate it, apparently, when you mind your own business, too. Like, me just sitting here knitting, minding my own business is apparently a huge problem for many. $20, $40, $60, $80, $120.
Yay! Oh my god, I barely made it. Okay. Fucking can't see anything. This is really hard to see. I gotta see if I can find my glasses. Brr, it's fucking cold. Okay. If you were glasses, where would you be? Holy friggin' fraggin', it's freezing. Too fucking cold for not wearing a sweaty. I can't find my fucking glasses. That's gonna be a problem.
your freaking glasses, bro. Ooh, it's getting warm. I can't find my glasses. They're not in my purse. I know that. They're not in the car. I know that. Are they in this bag, maybe? Glad they're not here because they'd be so fucking scratched up. Okay, they're not there. My eyes are hurting from straining. Damn it, dude. Those my glasses. Ah! Good job, Heather. I also have these glasses I got to help you to train your eyes to be stronger. And they've got like little holes. So it forces you to like use your eye muscles more. Right now, it's just blurry everywhere. I need my glasses. Oh my God, it's a miracle.
furries and snow strippers are a thing. Have you heard? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. I apologize that I am late. The episode is late. I went to a show last night in LA. I went to the Snow Strippers concert. I don't know anything about the Snow Strippers. A friend of mine is a manager in the rap world, the underground rap world, for like young people. And he was like, the Snow Strippers are a thing. Have you heard of the Snow Strippers? So you have. Okay. And it was, people were messaging me, you're at a Snow Strippers? First of all, yeah, I am. So what? But I didn't know who they were. And a lot of their fans were seemingly very lovely people. They were kind of furries and kind of goth, Mexican furries, trans, and great. Love it. Go to the concert. Stop with the shooting. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, that's the thing. Trans furries just go to the concert. You know what I mean? Like the shooting, if that's what happened, and that's a whole nother thing. But we're getting sidelined. We're getting sidelined because, frankly, let's be honest, a lot of us don't, including me. I don't think it was that. But whatever. Moving on. But a lot of their fans, and I had trans furries coming up to me, which was nice, saying thank you for your work, literally. And there was a few trans furries that took photos with me and said, thank you for what you do. And I think the trans furry kind of Mexican goth community, in small parts, in small numbers, it wasn't a million people, but in small numbers, I think, are starting to warm to me. You will come to me eventually, no matter what segment you're in. You will find the program eventually, no matter what segment you're in. I will start to make sense as you go through life. It doesn't matter that you have the fox head on or whatever that woman who came over to me last night had. Could have been a cat. Doesn't matter. Again, we're off track. I will start making sense to you at a certain point in your life. You can't fight it. I know many people want to fight it. And they fought it for decades. I bump into people and they make faces and they're fighting it and they're like, that guy, ugh. But eventually I will wear you down with logic and charisma. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And I realized that last night with the lovely Snow Strippers fans. I thought Fake Mink was going to be there, and I didn't know who that was until 4 days ago, and I started listening to Fake. Do you know who Fake Mink is? See, I got you. Well, he's from the UK, and I thought Fake Mink was going to be there, but Fake Mink wasn't there. And then one of the other people was like, yeah, Fake Mink's not on this. But it's every now and then I'll go... Every now and then I'll go to an underground rap show in LA, or not even underground, but like, I don't know, a weird thing. And people are shocked. Like, you'll see people look at me and do a double take. It's like crazy to see me in that environment because I'm dressed kind of like the way I'm dressed, but I dress insane anyway. So I kind of dress like I might be there because like these young people see me, and I think the word is unk. That's the parlance. And they see me like, what is that? Now, some of them don't know who I am. A lot of them, most of them. But then occasionally you will see someone there. And then there's people there that are like older than me who are clearly just trying to kidnap people. That's an interesting segment. I'm there because I was invited by some guy who's a manager that I'm friends with now. But I then look at people that are like older than me, like straight up dad energy, but that creepy dad, who are in a button-up shirt and glasses like a serial killer, and then it's just a bunch of Mexican trans furries, and I'm like, well, he's trying to scoop one of them up and bring him to the car. There's no, but I guess that's the way it is. That's the way it is. There was a few people, and I was kidding around with my manager friend, who's a new friend, but I like him because he's, you know, he's like, oh, he's a fun, like, I like, if you get a good white black guy, it's great. Like that archetype of guy. But the white, by the way, I've been having a lot of issues with the white black guy recently, only because it's so over the top. I was in Vegas. I was having lunch at True Food Kitchen. This white guy approaches the table, and you know what it's going to be immediately. You know it's white black guy, but not in a way that you can, like, he's like, what up, plur? Like he's made player. Maybe it's Southern white black guy that's really bothering me. But whatever he was doing, it was so over the top, and he was very happy. And he was like, what up, plur? What up, plur? And I was like, oh, God, we're doing this. It was one of those things where he's like you would order the lunch, and then he'd be like, bro, I couldn't forget this order. I finna get you ketchup. But it's fully white guy. Finna get you ketchup. What up, plur? It was just too much. It was awkward, and it was too much. But if it's tastefully done, and this guy tastefully done white black guy, I think it's an attractive quality if it's tastefully done. If the white black guy is done in a tasteful way, where it's not so over the top and silly, where it's like insane. What True Food Kitchen, by the way, worst restaurant in America, disgusting, tasteless crap, sue me. Oh, it's so good for you. It's not, and it's terrible. Have you been there? It's a restaurant dedicated to everything's in an air fryer, but it's not good. And they pretend it's like American restaurants should just not even attempt to be healthy. They don't even know how to do it. They should just try to kill you. If you're going to be healthy, buy the food, cook it. If you go out to eat in this country, you should go out knowing that the restaurants are actively trying to kill you. And any restaurant that goes, we're actually only trying to wound you, they're also trying to kill you. They're trying to. So there's True Food Kitchen that hired this sweet guy, probably 2 months out of prison, rehab, whatever. And it was just a white black guy energy I couldn't get with because it was so over the top. I'm finna get you ketchup, and I ain't trying to get you charged for this ketchup. I ain't trying to get you charged for this ketchup, plur. And I was like, listen, can we just, I heard you from New York. I got people there. And I was like, he's like, I'll be around there sometimes. That's what he said. He goes, yo, you from New York? I'll be around there sometimes. I go, hey man, I just want the baked chicken finger here. But this white black guy that I'm now friends with it's classy. It's done well. I think it's important that it's just done well. Now, if it starts to go overboard, I'll have to detach. But I'm very excited because right now, this white black guy, who I didn't think I would like, because another mutual friend brought him to my studio. I was like, this guy's cool, and I'm like, oh, because most people, I really, truly, this is what happens at 41. Most people, it's tedious to even talk to them or be near them or around them. And I don't want to sound like I'm an antisocial hermit. I'm not. I force myself to suffer through this. The people in my life, agents, managers, business managers, assistants, personal friends, family, it gets harder and harder. The yoke that binds you together, it just isn't as much of a connective tissue as you get older. People in your life, some of them, and now maybe you don't have this experience, and bless you. I know I was accused the other day of being so negative on this show. Love and light to everyone who doesn't have this experience. God bless you. Love it, love it. But as you get older, it is harder to tolerate people, especially new people. At least with old people, you go, I know what I hate about you. And you know what you hate about me, and we overlook that. And we get to the things that we like about each other. Or there's certain friends you have that you just like talking to about certain things. I have friends where I just talk to them about certain real estate markets in certain cities, and it's a decade-long friendship where I will just talk to certain people about what's going. Certain people call me, "Hey, see, Austin's getting fucked." I go, "I know," and it's 25 minutes on the phone, once a month, once every 2 months. And that's okay. And so I don't like meeting a lot of new people. Like when you're young, you're like, I really want to meet a lot of people. I love meeting interesting people. By the way, anyone who says that's a crazy person. Anyone who says they like meeting interesting people is mentally ill, is a mentally ill person. I'm telling you. Because it doesn't happen that frequently that anyone can even like it. It's someone who is imagining what it would be like if I meet interesting people all the time. It's terrible. It's actually terrible. I meet interesting people all the time. It is actually not that interesting. I've met people where it's so insane, it gets boring. Like, if they're so interesting, you will meet people in the world that are so interesting, it's actually not that interesting.
That's me.
It's actually a weird, like, it's like goes full circle. So now my game is I'd like to meet people that are moderately interesting or not that interesting and pull out of them something that is interesting. Oh, your mother faked her own death and disappeared for a year and then came back. That I like. I don't want to meet people who are like, I built a company from the ground up. Like, already I'm sick when I hear that. Already at a dinner, when I hear I built this from the ground up, I'm physically ill and I want to kill myself. I built this from the ground up, and in the beginning, nobody really believed. Oh my God. Oh my God. Come with a gun, shoot me in the face now. And like, my boys believed in me, but like, not even they did. And like, it took a while. And the first seed round, oh my God, get a noose tied around my neck, make sure it's strong enough, and lift me to the rafters and let me go see God, because I can't, but I like this new person, this new white black guy. It's done well. It has class. There's charisma. It's not over the top. It's not like that waiter. And it reminds me of an archetype from my childhood. We had a lot of white black guys in Long Island that some went overboard, some are dead. You know, they got too into it. But, you know, I mean, you play the role to get too into it, and you start being stupid. You know?
I've never listened to
But
this guy
one
before.
is,
I've only ever
and he's
watched
got a
clips
white
of
black
him.
guy name, and it's a cool ass name. I'm not going to say it, but the white
Tim
black guy's got
Dillon.
a cool ass name, and that's all I'll say. But I can't do any more at lunch. What up, purr? I'm finna get that ketchup. I can't do it. It's awkward. It's disrespectful to the contribution that black people have made in our country. It really is. It's like wrong on every level. I don't know why it's not called out. Whatever. I'm moving on from it, but whatever. I don't know why that's okay. It's like crazy. If I decided to be a Dominican woman for a year, people would say that's like not good, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. But good job on the snow strippers. She's a Russian woman. She's attractive, not really to me biologically. I don't care, but she's an attractive lady, and she's up there singing for the transfer goth Mexicans. And a few serial killers who want to scoop them up, put them in the trunk, and myself, and the white black guy who's not my best friend. And then in the beginning of it, they couldn't get the tech right, so they had to keep leaving the stage and apologizing, and all the transfer Mexican goths were deflated by this. And they're sad anyway, I think. So, I mean, they have a lot of emotional things. No one's happy ever, by the way, in our country. I was talking to Louis C.K. about that. No one's happy in America. I don't know why. But no one looks at, like, they're all at a concert, but they're all kind of have that glazed look. They're all raised in a phone and whatever. But so they only get happy when this Russian woman gets on the stage. And then immediately there's like a problem, and they apologize. They go, "We're so sorry that we had to do this to you." And then the transfer Mexican goth kids get sad. And then some of them came over to me and they were like, "Yo, can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Of course you can." Little chupacabras. And then, so these chupacabras are sad. And these little trans chupacabras then go nuts when the Russian chick comes right on again, and they all start going nuts. And it was lovely. It was a lovely event, and it was nice to go. Nice to go. It was enjoyable because, you know, we're maybe on the verge of war with Iran, and we don't know. And I don't want to be negative about that. Somebody sent me a clip where these guys were discussing me, and they were like, "We're fans of him, but he's always tells people that there's no hope." And I go, "I'm not saying there's no hope. He's telling people they can't have a good life." I said, "I've never said that. I've never said that." If you look at the news right now and you're overwhelmed with a sense of hope, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, honestly, if you read the news right now and hope is the first word that comes into your mind, I'm confused. That's all I would say. I'm not trying to spread negativity here. The show is literally me reacting to what's going on in the world. And if you think what's going on in the world, like, I get it. We're run by a cabal of satanic pedophiles. There's tremendous wealth inequality. We have a technocracy that's built autonomous drone armies, but you can still have a good life. I get it. I'm not telling you you can't have a good life. Go have a good life. What I'm saying is, when you look at the trends happening, you have to sit with that for a minute and go, "Oh yeah, this might shape up to be bad. It might. It might work out well. It might all work out well. The 7 people that all have all the money and have all the autonomous robotic drone armies, they might be benevolent rulers in our kingdom." So I'm not saying you can't go get a sticky bun or take a jog with the dog on Sunday morning. I'm saying the news is, you get a little deflated if you read the news. And they're like, "Why is Tim Dillon mad? He has a nice car." Da 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 da. Hey man, I'm lucky I have a silly car that I've wanted since a little kid that I can drive. But I don't know that invalidates the larger trends of what's happening, and the country's not doing great. I know that in some areas it feels like it's doing great, but it's not doing great. Like, we're in $40 trillion worth of debt. That's number one, a big problem. We're on the verge of potentially a major war with Iran. That's not good. The average age of a homeowner is 39 years old. People are less likely to go out and hook up and get married and have children. So society looks a lot differently than it did when I grew up, and I'm responding to all of that. It's not to depress anyone or tell anyone you can't have a good life. I have a good life, as people bring up, and you criticize anything. They go, "You have a Rolls Royce, shut up. Why would you point something out that's glaringly obvious to literally anyone?" There's a contingent of people that want you to say,
Oh my God, I did it.
"Things are great. Things
Wow.
are great." That Sean Hannity crew, Ben Shapiro's in there, but it's a big
Oh.
Murdoch kind of Fox News
I gotta
crew.
go blow or pick my
And
nose.
then also
Be right back.
there's people on the left that are more the mainstream Democrats, and also their instinct is always to go, "Things are good if, people just were to listen to women. Like, we'd be better. That's our only real issue. Things would be good if we had a trans Spider-Man. The real issue is the lack of representation on the shows that nobody watches anyway. If minorities got more work on the shows that no one watched anyway, no one would need health care. Everything would be fine." That's an impulse. I get it. It's an impulse to have to just tell everyone to shut up. Things are good. Well, Tim Dillon's not going to work in and these were nice guys. I mean, they weren't like they disagreed with me on things. They were like, one of them goes, "Tim Dillon's not, well, he's not going to do another movie because you trashed that director." Number one, how many movies was I in before that? Was I a movie star and I just didn't know it? Number two, did you see that movie? What was I supposed to say? What was I supposed to say? It was a cinematic achievement? And that director's a great director, and he's directed lots of other projects that have been classic. He's a legendary comedy director. And he'll direct
Oh my
other
God.
that I won't be in. And whatever. Side note, I did look at a condo on, and I'll say his name, Todd Phillips, whatever. People know who it is. And I looked at the condo in this building in LA called the Sierra Towers, and the realtor said it was a really nice condo.
You can't read my mind?
And the realtor said, you know, Todd Phillips, the big director, he owns
So I can't, it's so dark in here, I can't see shit, so I had to put my little light strap to my forehead so that I could fucking cast on. This is taking me 2 days.
But listen, I get fired all the time. I was fired by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You understand that? I was the only comedian fired by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I'll be fired again, and I never blame anyone for my firing. It's usually my fault. It's almost always my fault. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stop talking about dose. I'm skeptical of massive health corporations that tell you to sit back, do nothing, and trust the system. That mindset makes you weak. Firing nuclear missiles?
Oh, I have to watch another.
Intercontinental ballistic.
I have to go and watch something so I know what I'm doing next here. It's been a while since I made it this far. Hey, money. Yeah, you are.
Stitches. So I slipped all my stitches to the tip of the needle, and I made extra sure that the cast-on edge here forms one continuous line here on the inside.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Double check. It's so easy to mess up. And now we can start knitting in the round. And doing a traveling magic loop is recommended in this case because it will be much easier to knit across the gap. So the repeat for this very first row will be, place a stitch marker here. So the repeat for this second setup row is just as easy. You slip one purlwise with yarn in back, and then you purl one. Try to keep the gap here as tight as possible, and then slip another stitch purlwise with yarn held in back, purl one. So you always slip the knit stitches.
Hold on 1 second.
So you always slip the knit stitches, and here those purl stitches you purl, they are a bit in the back. That's because, well, this is double knitting, I guess.
I'm going to be successful this time. I'm so excited. Oh my god. This is taking me a full day of trying to just cast on my needle. Okay, so we got it like that. And now, go this way. I'll just take a couple stitches from here. Ah. Mama. Okay. No, Mommy. Oh, I did the wrong side, didn't I? Yes, I did. Let go. No. Money. To make sure this isn't twisted. It's facing the same direction. Okay. And now pull this side through. And I just take a couple of stitches from there. Go. Okay. Now you what's the first one that you do, friend?
Doubling match loop is recommended in this case because it will be much easier to knit across the gap. So the repeat for this very first row will be, gonna place a stitch marker here. So the repeat for this second setup row is just as easy. You slip one purlwise with yarn in back and then you purl one. Try to keep the gap here as tight as possible and then slip another stitch purlwise with yarn held in back, purl one. So you always slip the knit stitches and here those purl stitches you purl. They are a bit in the back. That's because, well, this is double knitting, I guess. And otherwise, the repeat is super simple. And continue until the very end of this second row. And remember, we did a traveling magic loop, so you will have to cover these stitches as well. That's why we placed the stitch marker. So I finished knitting that second setup row, and from here you have two choices. First, you knit another 2 rows of double stockinette stitch, which means you would have to knit one, slip one purlwise with yarn in front, one row, and then another row with slip one purlwise with yarn in back, and then purl one. This will create a very rounded cast on edge, so that would probably my preferred choice if I wouldn't want a folded brim. For a folded brim, I only do 2 setup rows and I continue knitting in a simple 1 by 1 rib stitch from here. So knit one and purl one, knit one and purl one. And you can see which stitches you need to purl. So here there is a little purl bump. So I purl it. This is a knit stitch and I knit it. So you don't really have to count stitches. Just knit every stitch the way it appears. Now, my last video was all about getting ribbing to look as neat as possible, and one of the tricks was giving the working yarn a good tuck after every purl or after every first purl stitch. So you knit, so I always knit one, purl one, tuck, knit one, purl one, tuck at the working yarn, knit one, purl one, tuck. At first, this will feel a bit awkward, but once you knit a couple of rows, this will feel like a second nature. And from here, you need to knit around 10 centimeters in this 1 by 1 rib stitch, 10 centimeters, or 4 inches of this ribbing. So it's always in every row, it's the exact same repeat, knit one, purl one, and so on. And one more thing, remember to take breaks. All this pulling on the working yarn after every purl stitch will put quite a bit more stress on your fingers than usual. So I only knit for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I take a short break. Maybe shake out my hands a bit, stretch a bit, get a new cup of tea or coffee if that's your thing, and then I continue. And personally, I often actually set myself a timer on my mobile phone so I don't forget it and I don't get into the knitting zone where I go like, yeah, just one more round, one more round. And yeah, again, you need to continue.
I feel called out.
One by one rib stitch for 10 centimeters or around 4 inches. Oh, and I noticed I wanted to mention two more things. First of all, here in the second round, you will already see what a well-rounded edge the tubular cast on will create. What you will also be able to see is if you accidentally twisted your cast on edge. This can happen, no problem. The problem is when you just continue knitting blindly and then after you covered 5 or so centimeters, you suddenly notice your work looks like this. So here in the second row, you should already be able to see that your cast on edge forms one continuous line that is not twisted, and so don't wait too long. So a couple of hours later, this is how my little hat in the making looks like now. Quite pretty, but far from being finished. I only knit about 10 centimeters here. Still, now is a good time to control the fit of your head, and we obviously need to talk about when you can start decreasing. First, this hat pattern has a folded brim. So if you want to control the fit, you obviously need enough fabric to fold it. And you won't be able to do this when you only have a centimeter or so. Also, the tubular cast on here is quite stretchy. And if you try your hat on only after 10 rows or so, your fabric will behave quite a bit different than your whole head will when it's finished. This hat should fit around your head so the rib looks nice. It shouldn't be overstretched like this, except you prefer it that way. But of course, the ribs shouldn't be as condensed as they appear here, so your head drops past your eyes on its own. If it doesn't fit nice and you feel, well, this is a bit too loose or too tight, then I have bad news for you. You would have to adjust your cast on and start all over again. The good news is, once you've figured things out, you can knit as many hats with a perfect fit as long as you use the same yarn. And it really boils down to, maybe pinching the fabric a bit while you tried it on, and then, see how much less you would need. 3 ribs, maybe 6 ribs, and remember, the number has to be divided by 6, and each rib here means 2 stitches. So just pull out the fabric and see how much less you would need. And if it's too tight, well, what you can do is you can try it on and pull it down as far as you get, and then take your tape and check the difference and adjust your cast on accordingly. But remember, a 1x1 rib is very, very forgiving. So if you are little bit off, it won't matter a lot. And you will also be able to add a little rubber band here on the inside later on to correct minor mistakes or create an extra snug fit. Now there's one important question you might be asking. When should you start decreasing your head? The answer is actually quite easy, but it will totally depend on your personal preferences. First of all, this pattern here is meant to be worn with a folded brim. But if you don't like that, that's okay, but obviously you would need less fabric in this case. So first, you need to decide for yourself how high your brim should be. In my case, I want it to be 7 centimeters high. But again, it entirely depends on your personal preferences. But I wouldn't go too small. Anything below 4 centimeters doesn't work very well. And now, I already did this, now you simply have to fold your project or your work in progress the way you want your brim to look, and then put it on. And I tried to sketch this, and then the project, or you should start decreasing when your project reaches the crown of your head, and there is, barely wisp of hair peeking out, or skin. Now, that's just for this pattern, because I want the tip to be rather tall. For other patterns, you would have to do it differently. But once this is the case, you can start decreasing, and the pattern will give you a couple of other options. In my case, this means my fabric here, the total length of the fabric needs to be 23 centimeters or 9 inches. So before we can start decreasing, you need to place a couple of stitch markers. I am using these bulb-shaped stitch markers, which you can attach freely without having to knit. And the pattern will tell you exactly where you need to place the stitch markers, but you can also do some very simple math. Remember, we cast on multiples of 6. So, in my case, those are all my stitches on the needle. I cast on 144 stitches. And now you need to divide, or these 144 stitches, or however many stitches you cast on, into 3 equal parts. This would be, in my case, 48 stitches. And now you need to carve out 7 stitches here in the front. And you need to subtract 4 stitches from this section. And
no, mommy, no. No, I'm doing something stressful. Nope, no, not right now.
You need to place
Hold
your
on.
stitch markers. You need to place one.
Hold on, Mama.
here
Hold on.
after 44 stitches. 48 minus 4. Then you knit 7 stitches, place a stitch marker, and then 48 minus 3 is 45. And then you place another stitch mark after 45, and here another after 48 stitches. So that's the simple math, and it will work for any other number dividable by 6. And once you place all your stitch markers, you can start knitting until you are 4 stitches before the first stitch marker. So I'm 4 stitches before this stitch marker, where the next stitch marker is only 7 stitches removed. And we are going to decrease like this, so from both direction, and these 7 stitches here in the middle will remain untouched for the whole time. So, and the decrease always works in two passes really. First, you will decrease this knit stitch here and this purl stitch, so you end up with 2 knit stitches next to each other, and then you knit across a round, and then in the next, or in the third round, you will decrease these adjacent knit stitches into 1, and then you rinse and repeat. So how do you do that? So 4 stitches before the stitch marker, you knit an SSK. So 1 SSK here.
Love you.
And this will bring 2 knit stitches next to each other. And then you purl 1 stitch, slip the stitch marker, and then when you come to the next stitch marker, let me get there quickly. Next stitch marker, you slip the stitch marker, and here is a purl stitch, and this will remain untouched the whole time. And here we have 2 knit stitches, and we want to bring these together. So in this case, it means we have to purl 1, knit 1, and then knit 2 together. So knit these stitches together. That's the neatest right leaning decrease of them all. And then you continue knitting until you are 4 stitches before the next stitch marker. So I'm 4 stitches before the next single stitch marker, and here you have to do the exact same thing. The only difference is that there are no 7 stitches in between the decreases. So 4 stitches before the stitch marker, I'm going to knit an SSK here to bring these 2 knit columns together. And I purl 1 stitch, and this purl stitch will act as a separator between the decreases. Slip it, and now I will want to bring these 2 knit stitches together, which means I knit them together, and then you continue in pattern until you are 4 stitches before the last stitch marker. And here before the last stitch marker, you do exactly the same. You can see I placed a special stitch marker here so I can see where the beginning or the end of my row is. So it's always the same. Before the stitch marker, you SSK, and after the stitch marker, you knit 2 together. So that's actually very, very easy to remember. And you always start the decrease with the second knit column. Slip that, and here again you knit 1. This is the first knit column, and this is the second knit column. So you start the decrease here and knit 2 together. And this finishes the first round, sorry. And now you have to knit 1 round across. So knit across 1 round, and then I'll show you how to knit the second decrease round, the second pass. So I finished knitting across that 1 round. I'm in my 3rd round now, and 3 stitches here before the double stitch marker, and here are 2 knit stitches next to each other. So there's nothing fancy happening here. You SSK them. You SSK them, and then you will end up with your normal repeat. So 1 knit stitch, purl, knit, purl, and you slip the marker, knit across in the normal repeat. Remember, these 7 stitches remain untouched. Hoopala, where is my stitch marker? It felt like running away. And then you purl 1 stitch here after the marker, and here again there are 2 adjacent knit stitches, and what do? Well, you knit them together, and then you continue until you are 3 stitches before the next stitch marker. And here in front of those single stitch markers, it's exactly the same. 3 stitches before you SSK those adjacent knit stitches, then you purl 1, slip the marker, and then knit these knit stitches together. And from here you can continue until you come to the last stitch marker. So here for the last stitch marker, it's exactly the same. So you SSK again and purl 1. By the way, I mean, you don't necessarily have to SSK. You can use any other left-leaning decrease as well. I have a full tutorial on left-leaning decreases here on YouTube. I'll link it to you up in here in case you are not satisfied with your SSK and they are a bit too loose. Anyway, from here, you need to knit across 1 more round, and then you start all over again with the first round I showed you. So 4 stitches before the stitch marker, you SSK, and then you knit 2 together, purl and a knit stitch on the other side. Then you knit across 1 round. Then you do the exact same round I just showed you. You knit around. So it's a easy 4 stitch repeat, and it's so easy to remember. For the stitch marker, you SSK, you have a left-leaning decrease, and after the stitch marker, you knit 2 together because you want a right-leaning decrease. And continue repeating these 4 rounds, and I'll see you there. So I made some good progress and there are only 48 stitches left on my knitting needles. That's about 1/3 of the stitches I originally cast on. And I wanted to use at this point in my knitting to address a couple of, well, not issues, choices. So first of all, I transferred the stitches to double pointed knitting needles because I personally feel that knitting those last decreased rounds on double pointed knitting needles is a tiny bit easier and more comfortable than doing it with magic loop. But if you want to continue using magic loop and you feel that's easier for you, of course, do that. And the second thing is, if you continue decreasing the way I showed you, you will work towards a rather pointy tip. And if you want a crown that is a bit more rounded, you should decrease in every round and not in every second round from here on. Either way, I'm going to continue decreasing here until there are only 18 stitches left. And I leave it up to you if you want to do it in every round rather, or every second round. So I'm here in my last round, and you might notice that there are only 2 stitches left here. There are only 2 stitches left here before the stitch marker, and not 3 or 4. So just SSK these 2 stitches, or whatever left-leaning decrease you want to knit. So SSK these and knit 2 together after the stitch marker. So that's only the very last round, sorry.
Where are
Only
my doubles?
the very last round where you immediately
Hold on, Mama.
knit the,
I love you.
a bit fiddly here, that last round.
Where did my double?
Where you immediately decrease before and after the stitch marker and not any stitches between them. And do that in
Money.
front of
Listen, I just need.
and after every stitch marker of the row. So SSK that stitch here as well.
Please
and
don't
so
touch
on.
it.
So I finished knitting that very last
There it is.
round, and
Fucking
now
knew
you
it.
only need to secure the stitches that are still on the needles. So cut your working yarn, leaving 10 or so inches, and thread the tail on
I love you so much. But I just need a second, Mama, okay?
Pick up each and every one
Love
of
you.
the stitches on your needle. Let me get that in focus. And then pick up every single stitch that is on your needle. You may drop the stitch marker, we don't need it anymore. And slip every little stitch here to the tapestry needle. And then pull the yarn through. So like this, without knots. And then do the same with the remaining stitches here on the needle. And I guess if you have been knitting along, this would be an excellent opportunity to congratulate you because you just finished knitting your possibly first hat. And now just pull tight, and then you may want to okay, let me get this in focus, and then you may want to sew over one, so go through each little stitch one more time to secure it. Go through each little stitch one, and then you can pull the tail through to the other side. Oops. Like this. So we are here on the wrong side to do what a lot of knitters don't like doing, weaving in ends. But we only need to weave in 4 ends. And I always use a sharp tapestry needle. By the way, if you want to learn how I weave in tails, I'll link you my full tutorial up in here with 10 different methods. But for ribbings, I always do it like this. So here's my tail. I make sure that it's nice and tight. And then I simply follow the course of one of those knit stitch ribs here, columns.
I love you.
And
I will give
as
you
can see,
attention in
I
just a second.
pierce
Just not while I'm in the midst
right
of a
through,
tense thing.
the
Okay.
stitches, pull through, and then I go one more time in the other direction.
Fucking kidding me, bro.
And then I pull through, but I don't pull it through the tail all the way. I massage it into place. See how that finished? And then once I am satisfied, I can cut. Okay, and that's it. That's how it will look like now. Totally invisible, or almost invisible, and very secure. Then you probably will have a tail down here as well, and you can weave it in the exact same way. And here at the bottom, there's one more tail, and you can use it
Get
to close the
in
little gap
your
here
home.
you created when you
Go where
joined
you're
things
supposed to
in
fucking
around.
go, you stupid
And
bitch.
I just noticed
Thank
things
you.
are really, really fuzzy here, so it's a bit difficult to
Oh,
say.
you're a bitch,
But
aren't you?
basically,
Yeah,
you just
fuck
have
you.
to graft one stitch here to bridge that gap. Carefully bridge that gap.
Alright.
There's actually not a lot, so it's very difficult to show here, but I basically go underneath that stitch here, and then you can already go maybe here underneath that V of the knit stitch here, underneath that V. And if you're satisfied, and I am, then you can continue weaving in this tail as well, the way I just showed you. Oh, and very important, of course, you have to do this on the right side because this is a folded brim, so you need to do it on the right side. All the other tails you need to weave in on the wrong side, but this tail you need to weave in on the right side. If you do it like I just showed you, it will be almost invisible anyway, so it probably doesn't matter, but still I would, if you want it all neat and tidy, then do it on the right side. So this is the way the hat looks like now, and I really urge you to put it on right away to see if it fits and if everything went right. But you will also notice that your head will stretch out the ribbings here at the brim, very nice and neat. But up in here, there's no way to stretch it out. So the ribbing will almost appear like stockinette stitch, and it will be very pointy. To fix that, we need to block the head. To block your head, you need to soak it in lukewarm water for 30 minutes or maybe an hour. You can add some very mild soap, or if you have a wool detergent, and then you need to wring it out between 2 towels gently. Don't rub it or anything, then it will felt, and you probably don't want that. And then it should be almost dry, and then we can pin it to a blocking mat or any other soft surface. So 30 minutes later, I removed my hat from its bath, dried it between 2 towels, and then I already pinned it to my blocking mat. It's still a bit damp, but not wet. And as you can see, I pinned it in a symmetrical way. So here are the 2 decrease lines. And I placed the pins very close to each other and a bit further in, because what will happen if you pin it right to the edge, often you end up with these kind of spikes. I don't know if you can see this with this kind of spikes, and you want a nice clean edge here. Also here, be very careful if you use the tubular cast on. The tubular cast on is very stretchy, and don't stretch it out to the max. Actually, don't stretch out the whole head out to the max, just so the ribs are nice and neat. And that's all you
God,
want.
these
And a
stitches are
really
too
nice
fucking
dome
tight.
shape here
Heather.
at the top. And
I
then
swear,
you
girl,
just
if
let it
you have
dry
to start over
overnight.
again, I'm gonna be very
Absolutely
mad at
avoid
you.
overstretching. Pin it symmetrical to your blocking mats or any other soft surface, and don't have the distance between two pins shouldn't be too far either. Otherwise, you will end up with spikes as well. So I removed my head from the blocking board, and this is the way it looks like now. Isn't it nice and neat? This is the front side, and here is the back side. And blocking really made all the difference there.
God, I can't believe we just listened to that whole thing. Hello, hello. Heather, yes, that's me. You're the cutest cat, I know.
My chicken coop closed door. Listen, bitch, don't make me fucking hurt you, okay? I don't like it. Are you stupid? What? What's the matter? What's wrong, Mommy? Mm. What? Okay. I'm scared of letting this go. Hold on, I'm coming. I know, I hear you. I know, I see what you want. I hear you, I see what you want. I'm coming. Don't freak out, I'm coming. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hi, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm right here. I'm right here. I know. It's okay. It's okay. Right there. I can see it. I feel it. I feel it. I know. I'm sorry, it hurts. You just gotta go take a big poop. She's not gonna do anything. I will knock her down if she does, okay? I'll push her out of the way if she tries to jump on you, okay? Okay? Well, I've gotta go close the chicken coop, so I'll do that. I'll monitor for you after I get back, okay? Brr. Please do not accidentally fuck with that setup. Suki, don't do it. Glasses here so I don't try and look through them. I'm gonna have to get that propane tank. Woo, it's windy. I gotta put you in my pocket. Holy shit. Holy shit, it's cold. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, it's so warm in here. Yes, she's pregnant. But if I can get her dewormer before too long, I only have about 3 more days. If I wait any longer than that, then it won't work. But if I get her dewormer in the next 3 days, it'll terminate the pregnancy. So I need to get her some dewormer. Brr. I have Snickers pudding cake.
gosh, too much stuff piled up. You better not. Don't touch it. That's my cheese. My pack thingies. Dehumidifier. Hello from Basil CH. I don't know why you think you're gonna get my food. Like, I don't know when I ever share my food with you that give you the impression I'm gonna start sharing with you today. Boys and girls. today was great.
Here's Laura Loomer. Tucker Carlson endorsed eugenics and called for all Jays to be made to take a DNA test during his shocking interview with Mike Huckabee. Tucker said he wants there to be a full genetic test of everybody who lives in Israel to prove who Abraham's descendants are. Only the craziest Jay haters play this game of accusing Ashkenazi Jews of not being real Jews. This is more proof that Tucker Carlson was likely partnering with Charles C. Johnson to ambush Governor Mike Huckabee as part of his plot to take out our Trump-appointed U.S. ambassador to Israel. And this is what she's crying about.
Abram's descendants are the ones who have the right to have this land, correct? Okay. Why don't we do genetic testing on everybody in the land and find out who Abram's descendants are? It's really simple. We've cracked the human genome. We can do that. Why don't we do that? Would you be against doing that?
No idea what that would prove. I mean, maybe it would be.
I make a little bit of money, but
Prove who Abram's descendants are.
not enough to like live off of. It's definitely not. I don't make enough money to like quit my day job.
I'm very confused as to why we don't do that. If you believe the theology that you just explained to me, would we do that?
E-cooter.
This is the only country in the world that you've said
Thanks.
has this.
Yeah, you're the only country in the world that's making this claim. So, okay, if what you say is true, certainly you'd be able to follow up with some evidence, right?
The lime ones.
That this people have a moral and legal right to the land.
What about people who convert to Judaism? Would they have a right?
Well, you just.
That's a question for you and the people that you represent, Mike Huckabee.
You just said there are
Cuckabee. That's freaking hilarious.
They can make Aliyah. They may not have
You just told me that it doesn't matter.
Hello in Texas, Dante. I'm in Oregon.
Okay. That it doesn't matter whether or not you believe in God or whether or not you practice Torah Judaism.
Yeah, no, I don't make like a living wage
I don't
off
even know
of
what that means.
YouTube.
It doesn't matter whether you're quote a religious.
I have
Jew
in the
or
past,
not.
but
What matters is that you are part of the Jewish people to whom God gave this land that extends from the Nile to the Euphrates. And so, if you believe that, wouldn't you want to know with a burning passion who those people are? And because of science, we can now know who those people are. So why aren't we finding out?
I guess you could propose a DNA test.
Your mom
for
is
everybody
demonic.
Who comes here, everybody who lives here. But the
I'm
point is,
comfortable with secular nation states where it's none of this is done on the basis of blood.
Right? I'm perfectly okay with not doing any of this and not trying to make some weird genetic racial argument to justify.
I'm not from
an
Oregon.
apartheid state, but that's what
I just
you're
live here.
doing.
I'm comfortable with that. I'll just say that.
Here's another one. I don't know if it's the same one, but let's see.
I'm actually from
8 million of them live here.
South Florida.
In the entirety of the world, there are about 16 million Jews total, and 8 million of them.
But
live
I
here.
am
The rest
Norwegian
live mostly in New York or South
by
Florida,
blood.
and a few other places. Okay. So this is a
Okay.
small population of people. They have connection to this.
Because I want
Might be
to.
a little anti-Semitic just to say.
Because,
that
like,
yeah, most of them
I
live
want
in
to.
New York and South Florida.
I own my own business. I own my own
Very
house.
tiny percentage of the global population.
You know, so like,
Thank you, Jude. Religion is
I
more
can do whatever I
more
want.
destructive than capitalism and any other economic government because religion guarantees falsely that prior
So.
system can't end that salvation. Perhaps, but I would say
I also
materialism
waited until I was in my
is the
late
most
30s
destructive force in the world
to tattoo my
today,
face.
perhaps historically speaking.
Historically, biblically, do they? Yes, they do.
Truly, the tattoos on my face help me determine very quickly because I'm a nice person and I'm very trusting. And I've ignored my own discernment so many times because I see someone doing something like nice, right? And so I will ignore these like the suspicious red flags that I pick up on because I want to believe that everyone is good. But what I found is that the people who end up screwing me over, literally, every single one, mentioned my tattoos on my face when they first met me. So now I've come to realize people who question the tattoos on my face, the first sentence out of their mouth, you're basically telling on yourself, and you're letting me know, do not trust me, do not hang out with me, do not give me your energy, because I'm going to screw you over. So thank you for announcing yourself.
Whether or not these people have a scientific historical claim to
I otherwise maybe wouldn't know.
But why don't they do that? They famously outlawed things like DNA tests in Israel.
The territory that Israel controls today, particularly
What cleanse?
who genetic testing, we can know their families have been here for thousands of years. We don't know whether they practiced Judaism, whether they were Samaritans, pre-Islam. We don't know that. A lot of them we know have been Christians for 2,000 years. They have less of a right to the land than someone whose ancestors, the only thing we know about them is they lived in Latvia or Poland. They're Eastern European. How does that work? They're Jewish. By what definition? They're Jewish by their, but how do we know they have any connection? They're Jewish by their faith. They're Jewish by the community.
No, I don't own a house. I own my house, my bus. I own it outright. I also own 8 acres of land outright. I don't make payments on anything.
You can be freeze-dried organic Jewish. You can be kosher Jewish. You can be vegan Jewish. You can be half Jewish. You can be someone.
I own my home.
You can be hilariously Jewish. You can be deliciously Jewish.
Just because you interpreted it that way, it's not my problem.
Genetically Jewish. There's so many ways.
Wow, user 9269. For someone who fucking can't stand me, you sure are here an awful lot.
You cannot believe in Judaism and still be Jewish. That's what's so crazy. You can be Jewish-ish. Yes, that's right.
Oh, that BB, specifically BB's ancestors.
Well, no, the bus is my home.
I'm a paid shill.
I live in it.
I am not going to give
It's a home.
Sure, if I understand your question, how do we know?
So,
It's even worse, though. He's like, it does not compute. I'm still buffering. Can you repeat the question?
I'm sorry that you guys are
Ancestors ever lived.
wasted your lives working for someone else. And no, I do not support Israel.
You're making the claim, dumbass. Mike Huckabee and these Zionists are making the claim that they have a connection to the land. If you make a claim, the onus is on you making the claim that has to prove that the claim is true. It's not the interlocutor's role to disprove your claim.
No mortgage.
Prove if it's true or not. He's
Nope.
like, well, how do you know it's not true?
I own 8 acres. Well, almost 8 acres.
True or not, if DNA tests
And I own it outright. It's fully paid for.
Religion is much older than capitalism, feudalism, etc., and it's evil will last them all. You got to remember that religion is an ideology, whereas capitalism is a political economy. At my point, it's like the moment that you start, financing a crusade, it's not about religion. Religion is part of the superstructure of societies and cannot exist without the base economy that.
That's nice, but I don't live on my land.
If you have a religion but not an
I had to leave because of internet stalkers.
and there's no meaningful way to carry out some religious national project or whatever.
48-year-old women
I think, in my own understanding,
have started sending people to my home to try to assault me.
used to justify
So
wars.
the last time that someone went to my house to try to fuck with me, I left and I never went back.
It's the
So
ideological
I'm renting a spot
what is economically
in another town now.
to the exploiters. And I think that's pretty much always been the case. And I think in the case of Israel or the case of any entity that claims
Before
to
it's
be
too late. No, thank you.
about their religious ideology and prophecy, that's all well and good. But
Actually,
commandeer the state,
a bus is not a house,
once you-
right?
once you
It's not a house,
stand in line with the war,
but it is a
you're no longer
home
acting on behalf of a
because I
religion.
live in it.
You're
I have a
acting as
kitchen,
imperialist.
I have a living room,
Definite
I have a
economic
bedroom.
reasons. So that's my take on it.
I mean, there was on the
What?
basis of the claim that
You cannot have my chips, no?
all kinds of things happen. People
Go get Orly's food in Orly's bowl.
money flow. I mean, it's a big question. A lot hangs on this. It's not some
What?
theoretical thing
Are you
like,
thirsty? You want some water?
My grandparents do this, do that. It's like, no, we have a right to do
You look thirsty. Let's get you some water, baby.
Consequences. That's a good point. You making this claim and then carrying out this reality is going to have a lot of consequences.
I did
on
not
other
say I was
people
gonna give you
because
the-
You're operating in a world of finite resources.
didn't say
so you're hedging your whole nation state on this ahistorical claim. Let's be honest. There's no way to prove this. Actually, there is a way to disprove it, I guess. But like we said, the onus is on the people that are making the claim.
I'm totally unable to process what you're trying to get at.
No, he's totally unable to respond in a way that doesn't put him in an ideological trap. That's pretty embarrassing, right? I'm totally confused. I'm sorry. I just totally don't understand. Yeah, unwilling. Not
You're gonna have to be
unable.
happy with
Thank
that for
you.
now.
Here's another clip.
Now, I'll tell you where Christians are not doing very well. They're not doing very well in the Muslim-controlled countries. There's almost no
Yeah, they're not doing well in Palestine because Israel is bombing them.
Christians in Qatar, for example, except those who live in the Christian ghetto, who are the service workers.
I'm
No.
sorry. Look, I don't want to
Not
argue
lick
with you.
my
There
face.
are many more
Trying
Christians
to
in
steal my
Qatar than
food
there are in Israel.
out of my mouth.
That's not true.
What
Disgusting.
actually is true, and I refer you to Wikipedia, Mr. Ambassador.
Wikipedia,
I refer you to the government of Qatar, the government of Israel. These are knowable facts. Like I'm
in Jordan,
by the way,
the numbers are down. In Syria, the numbers are down. In
I'm
Lebanon,
just
the
saying,
numbers are down.
there
I'm just
No,
telling you
really,
that
buddy,
about
stop.
twice as many Christians.
Trying to
But
open
they
this.
live in the enclave. They're not native Qataris.
Okay, we're mixing so many different categories
Yeah.
here. I'm just saying I get things
Dude,
wrong
oh
all
my
the time.
God,
You've
what
just
the
gotten something wrong, and I think it's important to acknowledge it. There are many more
Make
Christians in
this
Qatar than there are in
fucking
Israel.
plastic out
How
of.
many?
Now you caught me. I don't know. I can flip my phone, but I was just there, and there are many more. Whatever. But I just want to get to the point.
Now, I'll tell you where.
What a shit show. It's like Tel Aviv Ted not knowing how many Iranians there are. Here's another clip of Mike Huckabee, Israel's ambassador to Israel. As David Icke puts it, Israel be
There you
expected
go.
to even pay 1 penny to rebuild Gaza. Let's hear his answer. I'm sure it's no.
Should Israel be expected to even pay 1 penny to rebuild Gaza at this point?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you, if anything, there ought to be reparations to Israel.
It smells so good in here.
Extraordinary fight that they have had to conduct to get
Wow,
their.
this is just insane to hear him say that Israel deserves reparations. Reparations for Israel. The genociders need reparations, guys.
Hostages back, 252, including many Americans.
Should Israel be expected to?
I did know you could hear me. I don't know.
Yeah, so this is that same.
Oh, look.
clip,
It's Bella Luna, the person who claims to not like me and yet is here every single day.
Abram, pre-Abraham, receives from God the news that his
What did I
descendants
say that I
are
thought you couldn't hear me?
Tell me as the theologian from the Bible,
Not quite sure.
from the Euphrates to the Nile. I think that's right. And that would include like basically the entire Middle East. That would be the Levant, so that would be Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. It would also be big parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq. It would be, I mean,
I'm not sure it would go that far. I mean, it would be a big piece of land, but here's the point.
I never said I left my land because I didn't have basic necessities. I've always said that I left my land because of fucking stalkers.
It's a land that God gave.
I said I was unhappy on my property and I wanted to leave. Like I was already motivated to try to leave. But I never went back, like, because someone went to my house to fucking fuck with me. But you're welcome to interpret it as you wish. I really don't care. I'm not trying to impress you or convince you of anything. So, believe me or don't. It's all here.
which is once again basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews.
Yeah, that's how it goes, sissy.
Saying he did.
People claim they don't. I've said this so many times. I've used this analogy, but people will literally have a sandwich in their hands and they'll be like, "Oh, this smells like it's got a turd in it." Oh yeah, it's definitely got shit in it. And then they keep eating it. It's like, well, if you don't like me, if I'm gross to you or you disapprove of my lifestyle, so what are you doing here? Over and over again. You keep coming back to watch, but you don't like me. You have hateful things to say. If you don't like the taste of this shit sandwich, why do you keep eating it? I mean, that's very, very obvious, Lich King. Are you okay, my mouth? He was a thirsty boy. He needed his water. I need to like yellow this light up or something. It's a little bit too extreme. It's better. No, I cannot sing Cat's Eye. I wouldn't even know how to sing Cat's Eye. I don't know a single solitary sandwich. I just read sandwich. I don't even know a song. Yes. And the analogy in this case, I would be the shit sandwich. Yes, correct. And you keep eating it. Even though you know it smells like shit and tastes like shit, you're still putting it in your mouth. You're still consuming it. You say, you're obviously 12. Okay, well, back to ignoring you retards.
Land, because you're appealing to Genesis. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all. I was hoping that they would play more of it. I wanted to see Tucker's reaction, but we don't get that. Israel.
Orly, no more outside.
Strikes, you guys, against Lebanon,
There are big cats outside that'll want to eat you.
US-Iran war.
No more outside. All done outside. You want a treat? I can give you a treat. Yeah, I can do that.
Is preparing to carry out massive and unprecedented strikes against Iran-backed resistance movements in the region should they support the Islamic Republic in any war against Israel. Citing Israeli military sources, the Saudi-owned paper said Israel is preparing for possible strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon, Ansarallah in Yemen, and resistance factions in Iraq. Man, it's not a good day to be chosen, guys. Goys. Thank your lucky goys that you guys are goys and not chosenites, because it is a tough guy. You know, the assignment that the God gave to the chosenites, clearly it's a difficult one. I mean, it's one for the ages. Israel is currently pressuring Trump to initiate a new war against Iran. In January, Trump ordered
But please keep trolling me, because the more you troll, the more the algorithm goes, oh, she's interesting. Let's put more people in her chat. And every single one of you that has a YouTube premium subscription, just for me being here for a second, I get money from that. Every time you skip an ad, I get money. So please continue to tell me how terrible I am. Go for it. I don't give a shit what you think. I literally wrote a book about how to not give a shit about what anybody thinks about you. I'm the right person to troll. Go for it, babe. Okay. I need a hero. I'm gonna something to sing to the morning light. She gotta be. How come you do that every single time I pick up my needles? I love you too. All right, let me just put these fucking back down. Kitty, my kitty. What? You don't want me to pick you up? Okay, fine. Well, then what do you want? Then what do you want? She is my kitty. I already filled your bowl right here. Did you see that? Right here, Mama? Right there? Did you see that? I gave you some food. Suki! Tuk tuk! I'm sitting on my hair. All right.
Missile strikes on Iran alongside any U.S. action. We are prepared for any scenario, he said, adding that if Iran attacks Israel, they will experience a response they cannot even imagine. Military source said Ansarallah poses a direct threat not just to Israel, but to the whole world, accusing the Yemeni movement of impeding international trade in the Red Sea. That's just such a despicable line to read, because Yemen is the greatest victim, perhaps among many great victims in this unipolar world, superpower dominated by one irrational rogue actor. And I think Israel's scared. I think they're real scared about what's going to happen. So Howard Nuttlicker, went on TV to reassure the public that the Supreme Court would rule in favor of tariffs. He says, quote, these justices are going to come down in favor, but we know that they didn't. Then his family went out and quietly bought up all of the tariff refund rights for pennies. Disgusting fraud. So is he insider trading? Is that what's going on?
All right, the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick was at the Supreme Court to watch the discussion today and joins us now. Sir, good to have you back on. What did you see today? What do you think? How do you think they're leaning?
Well, I think they're leaning toward the president. So what happened is General Sauer, our Solicitor General, was out first, and the justices were tough. Let's say they were asking them tough questions. But when the other side got up, wow, it was very, very strong. And so I left very upbeat and very positive.
Money, no.
Justices are going to come down in favor of the
Do not pick at that.
Because he's stopping the emergency.
Money, no. No, there's a pew-pew in there. Don't do that. You're going to get hurt. No. Stay out of that drawer.
Everybody knows it. And some of those discussions were really, really interesting. And that's why it's fun to be on the show to sort of talk about exactly what some of these justices said.
All right, the Commerce Secretary, Howard.
But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo.
He sounds like a 7-year-old.
This is what the rules say. I could do this, and I could do that. I could do it. Don't get me mad. Wah. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads. I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. I can't charge. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little 2-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything.
I heard once the Supreme Court made that ruling of like striking down the tariff policy because they said it was unconstitutional, that gold and silver went down in price, which like shows you that people are like, you know, people are restoring faith in the American dollar a little bit, you know, like, okay, we don't need to buy so much gold and silver. But it's just funny that like, despite Trump's best desire or aim, like he's really trying to tank the dollar. But thank God the Supreme Court stepped in and said, no. Everything's manipulated, Carlamids. Welcome to the political economy of capitalism. Everything's a grift, everything's a scam. The only thing you can change is just maybe how much you're getting scammed, but you don't get to choose not to be scammed. That's not an option.
Yeah, you guys, you trolls are actually generating me such like, you are boosting my YouTube so much, in fact, that I've not even streamed on TikTok in like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I've only been streaming here because it's financially worth it. So, thank you. I am greatly appreciative. It's more valuable financially to me to stream to a bunch of retard trolls and then a handful of my supporters than it is to stream to a handful of my supporters. No, Orly, buddy, you cannot go outside, buddy. There are big cats outside that will eat you. Orly, lay down in Orly's bed. All done treats. Orly. I swear to God, if that dog tries to go out that door by himself. I need a hero. I need something to hear from the front of me.
gonna be when it's only something left. You son of a bitch. There you go. Come on, you could do it. There you go. There you go. Can't wait to be done with this row of stitches that is too fucking tight. There we go. I'm really not a fan of that. Oh, Heather, I swear to God. What? Damn it. Piss. Okay. Let's see that again. Get in there. There you go. Now you're doing that thing I like. That's better. All right. Let's just put you right there. Okay. That's better.
trying to twist on me. Can't wait to finish this little row where it's so tight. Probably gonna have to start over on this whole fucking thing, but we're just gonna persevere and hope that's not the case. Buddy, you cannot go back outside. If he starts saying mom, then I'll know he's really gotta go. And like, I can't just deny him. But right now, he's just acting like he wants to go lay down in the grass. And he cannot do that. They're fucking cougars. And I don't know if you guys know this about fucking big cats, but they like to climb up in trees. Fuck. He sounds like he's gonna start saying mom. Orly, no. You cannot go outside, buddy. Big cat. Outside. No, Orly, outside. All done outside, baby. Go lay down. So close. So close. I think I'm gonna get myself a rooster once I move. I think my girls would like that. Orly, no, baby. I'm sorry. No more outside. All done. I know. No more food. All done food. It's time to settle down for bed.
just laid down in bed. He gave up. Good. I'm gonna trim that fucking willow down a little bit. Apparently it's starting to scrape against the side of my house like a fucking old wooden house door, like a screen door. I get. There we go. Knit and purl and the knit and the purl. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling deep inside me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me.
Good job, Heather. Forgot I want to like listen to something. I am in a neither grade tent nor a van. Yeah, a long time, Mini-Me. Yeah, he's with his daddy. I really wish someone could change Howard Lutnick to Howard Nutlick on Wikipedia, but you got to remember Wikipedia is owned and operated by the Israelis. So the likelihood that will happen is slim. I am on my granny shit. You better believe it. Is that as far as it goes? Pretty lame. I'm just tired of this light being like in my eye hole. Just want it to be like below my head.
You guys, we need to talk about this James Charles billboard because it was vandalized. Everyone wanted to know what happened to it. How did James get this taken down? Because everyone thought that he had to be involved some way, somehow, after seeing this go viral. Ethan Klein is saying that he has all the details. It's pretty crazy. We are going to get into everything that is being said. This week, this James Charles billboard went up in LA that said, "Say James, I hear you text him young." On the billboard, it also had a search bar that said James Charles allegations in the left-hand corner. They cited a BBC article that referenced James holding myself accountable video, and it said it was paid for by TED Entertainment Inc., which is Ethan Klein's company. Now, people were definitely surprised seeing this go up. Photos went around everywhere as people were just like, wow, James is finally really being held accountable and publicly. And for the last couple of years, people have just been saying that they don't understand how he's been able to rebuild his reputation, fully launch and work on his brand. Meanwhile, all these things are in his past that people can't seem to understand how anyone can just move past them the way that some people have, and how people support him and invite him to things and even collaborate with him. But Ethan Klein said that he wanted to remind
Can't listen to this chick's voice. Ugh. All right, let's listen to
I think it's a
Tim
war
go.
that primarily would benefit Israel because Iran is the biggest regional threat to Israel. Whatever. So there's people that disagree with that analysis. You're allowed to disagree with that analysis. I would say you're wrong. I would say that I'm right. Trump barely talked about Iran. Iran was not an issue. It was Obama. It was a big issue. I mean, I know he made that deal and people fault him for that deal and whatever. And is there a nuclear program really peaceful? Is it really peaceful? Or are they, I don't know. I'm sure Iran would like a nuke. I'm sure a lot of countries would like nukes. But supposedly Iran's 5 minutes away from a nuclear weapon. And it's not enough to attack the missile sites, which we did. We have to go in and engage in a regime change war, which would be like a real war. Obviously, we would win with the United States, but it would be like a big war, and people would die, and oil prices would spike, and the global economy would suffer, and Iran is going to get weaponry from China and Russia, and they already have, and that's intensified over the last few weeks. And we're going to spend a lot of money to replace the Iranian regime with what? I mean, it's a country of 90 million people, and supposedly we're going to put somebody in there who they all love. I don't know who it is. I don't know what the plan is. The plan is to send the Shah's son, this guy who's been living in Bethesda, Maryland, in having brunch with the CIA every week for the last 30 years. We're going to stuff him in there, and he's going to show up there, and everything's going to work. Well, I hope it does, by the way. So these guys are criticizing me for kind of whatever losing the plot. And that's okay. I don't think I've lost the plot, but it's completely understandable for people to say they think that I'm wrong about something. And that's okay. I don't think I'm wrong about it, but it might be fun. Here's the other thing. Maybe the Iran war is actually a fucking blast. Maybe it's a blast. And I'm not ruling that out. It's fun as fuck, and we're all into it more than the Olympics. And I'm going to play something I did for the Olympics. And it's nice and funny, and it's a nice little commercial I did for J. Crew. And it's not a commercial, it's a short film. And the guy who directed it was lovely. I have nothing good to say about it. I have nothing bad to say about any of it. But I will say this about the Olympics in general. I think the Iran war will be more fun than the Olympics if we have it. I don't like the Olympics. I used to love it as a kid. I don't know what it is. People keep trying to make it a thing. It's an embarrassment. I hate it. If you talk about the Olympics, I automatically assume something is wrong with you. I have no time to hear about the Olympics. I cannot imagine the mental state someone has to be in to go home and watch the Olympics. It is a huge predictor of whether me and you are going to be friends if you choose to reference something that happened at the Olympics. I'm telling you, I don't care about any of it. I don't care that you thought the opening ceremony was satanic. I don't care that you got really invested in the bobsledding. I don't want to hear anything. I don't care that the skier broke her leg and now her career's over. None of this matters. And it's like Hollywood's dying. We're not going to care about the Olympics. Folks, when I grew up, Olympians were stars. They had backstories you cared about. Then it got really sad, and I talked about it on the show before, where they're like, he lived in a car for years. Mother shot herself in the face, and now he's going for gold. And you're like, well, this is a little dark. Because people's lives have gotten so dark that the backstory used to be his father got him up every morning, and they went down to the frozen lake, and his father was like, you're going to be a figure skater because you're gay. And that was nice. That was a nice thing. And he's like, you can suck all the cock that you want when you win gold, or something like that. That was fine. That was fine. But then it became like really dark, where it was like his mother bought lottery tickets every day, and she would sit there smoking cigs and scratching her scratch-offs. And he looked at her and he said, the only way I'm going to get us out of here is if I do the pole vault or whatever. It's just weird. And now it's like nothing. Can you get up anything about this skier who lost her career? Or am I even remembering this right? Didn't a woman have an injury and now she can't ski anymore? And who cares? No offense. Who's this for? Lindsey Vonn, a 41-year-old five-time Olympian, it's enough already then. Suffered a complex severe left tibia fracture after a high-speed crash during a February 8th Olympic downhill.
That's because she's in her fucking 40s and doing that crazy shit.
Surgeries for her leg in pieces, with recent updates indicating that she's recovering and back on U.S. soil.
Too old to be doing shit like that.
Let's watch this, because again, obviously, it's sad that she got hurt, but I just don't care about this. Yeah, well, she messed up. Hold on, show that again. That's not what you're supposed to do in that sport.
She crashed just seconds into her downhill.
Yeah, here's the thing. She goes airborne and then goes in a weird turn. Play that again. That's not what you're supposed to do. I don't even ski and I know that. Play this again. This is not right. She loses control. It's over. Here's the thing, folks. That doesn't make me feel anything. And it doesn't make you feel anything. And stop lying. All right, get her out of here. I don't want to see this again. But it's not real anymore. If Hollywood celebrities aren't real, we're certainly not going to care. I hope her leg is better. But this is nothing. The Olympics aren't a thing. And they haven't been for years. And no one's what generic what conversation starts with did you see the Olympics? The people that are watching the Olympics, it's like these little cute influencers in New York that are all getting paid, and they're all like, and they send them all to the Olympics, and they're all trying to distract you from all the stuff that's going on, which as they should be. But they're all like, whoa, I cannot believe I'm here at the Olympics. It's such an honor. Let me tell you right now, these people invited the J. Crew people, who I did this short film for, it was about Olympic skiing, like how skiing became a sport. And it was lovely, and the kids on set were very nice. We got in a fight with one of them. One of them, I called him Young Sheldon. He said, big back, I get it, the whole fat thing. He called me Tim Cheese. Then it became me and him. He was like a 9-year-old kid. We just started fighting about whether countries should have borders, who has sovereignty, whatever, just degenerated. But, and they should. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, it was a lovely experience. We'll play in a minute.
Rab. Thank you.
But they invited me, they go, you could actually come to the Olympics. And I go, yeah, but why? They go, but you'd be at the Olympics, it would be cool. It's like you'd be at the Olympics in Milan. I go, yeah, but I just don't, if I was at the Olympics, I'm telling you, I would just walk around and go, why are we still doing this? Can you get up Jake Paul and JD Vance talking at the Olympics? Look at Vance, look at his wife, and look at Jake Paul. I mean, that was the Olympics. This is the Olympics. Get that photo up. I mean, this is the Olympics. I mean, it's like, I like Jake Paul. I don't hate JD Vance. I think they're making a big mess of it up there. But I'm going to fly 10 hours for this because I would have been in that row. I'm in that row. It's Jake Paul, JD Vance, and then me, and I'm eating a pastry. I'm in that row. That's the row I'm in, most likely. Or I'm like, even more shamefully, I'm like behind them. You know what I mean? I'm like somewhere, like seated like behind them, but that's the crew. Who do you think they're putting me with? Where do you think I'm going? Where do you think I'm gonna go? You think I'm going with the young hot influencers? I'm going right next to Vance, the wife, and Paul. And I'm sitting there eating a tiramisu, disinterested, watching this bitch break her leg. Can you? I turn to JD Vance and go, ooh. And then I would have made him laugh. I would have went, kind of Pam Bondi, huh? That's the way Pam Bondi's handling everything. And he would have went, well, the thing about Pam. But, you know, I mean, that's where I'd be. I'd be in that row. Getting destroyed. So I didn't go to the Olympics. Let's play a little bit of this. Jake Crew, short film. I play a ski instructor talking to the children.
What are you even learning here? I mean, what the hell kind of school even is this? Gravitas is honor and dignity. Honor and dignity are truth. Truth is God. God is the mountain. Okay? Are you getting that through your little heads?
That was the kid I
Some of
followed.
your heads aren't that little. Some of you have
Go back
abnormally
to that
large
kid.
heads.
Go back to that kid for a minute. Where was he?
And some of your heads aren't that little. Some of you have abnormally large heads. Unnatural. And it's something you'll have to deal with. But not today. That little. The mountain.
Where is he?
Okay?
Yeah, him.
Truth is God.
Try to freeze on him. He started a chant, Tim Cheese, which is like some type
Honor
of rat
and
in a video
dignity.
game or something.
Honor and dignity are truth.
He started this. It's hard to
Truth is
see.
God. God.
It's quick.
Gravitas
He
is honor
started
and dignity.
a
Honor
chant
and dignity
where
are
all the
truth.
other children started
Truth
bullying
is
him.
God. God is the
And
mountain.
then I responded by
Okay.
calling him young him. So he starts this chant. No, literally, he starts a chant, Tim Cheese, Tim Cheese. And then he goes big back. He goes, and he makes his, he's blowing his, he's going. And then I go, okay, shut up, young Sheldon. And then I burned him. I like cooked him. And then the kids responded to that, and he was genuinely deflated. But then he came back at me with more chance, and they were being very vicious. And then they were 6-7ing and stuff. They're sick, young people, and they're nihilists. But all right, let's watch the rest of it. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Are you getting that through your little heads? And some of your heads aren't that little. Some of you have abnormally large heads. Unnatural.
Is this what the Tim Dillon show is like all the time? I'm like really having a hard time listening to this.
Have you ever heard of U.S. ski and snowboard? Those are the elite of the elite. Those are our eagles.
Sarah Ferguson has always been something of an outlier in the British royal family. A bubbly redhead with a knack for getting into awkward scrapes, seems that her greatest asset over the years has been the ability to bounce back into favour time and time again. Through scandalous affairs with accompanying embarrassing paparazzi shots, a royal divorce, associations with fraudulent businessmen, and attempts to sell her connections to Andrew for cold, hard cash, Ferguson has always managed to maintain her coveted place within the family. Despite splitting from Andrew, the former Duke of York, after only 10 years of marriage, the woman affectionately known to the public as Fergie clung to the title Duchess of York until October 2025. With the release of the latest trove of correspondence from the late Senator Jeffrey Epstein, however, this might be one fall from grace that even Fergie won't be able to survive. On the 30th of January 2026, the United States Department of Justice published another batch of videos, images, emails, and other correspondence as part of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, bringing the total number of released pages to somewhere near 3.5 million. As soon as the files were made available, people started searching through them with a fine-tooth comb, looking for the biggest players and most salacious stories. One of the highest profile casualties so far is the former Prince and Duke of York, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, whose connections with Epstein and the women and minors he trafficked has resulted in a loss of his royal titles, duties, and accommodation, which also directly affected Ferguson. Even though they'd been divorced for 30 years, Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah, had been living with him at the 30-room Royal Lodge in Windsor since 2004. But both were given their marching orders when the most recent files were released. While Andrew's relationship with Epstein was already well established, it soon became clear that Ferguson also had personal ties with the secretive financier and had continued to correspond with him, even when he was in jail for soliciting prostitution from underage girls in 2009. To the public, Sarah Ferguson seemed like a model
It seems
success.
like Sarah
Married to a
Ferguson
prince,
was
the
like
mother of 2 princesses,
passing off her
sky was
kiddos.
the limit when it came to what she could do as a spokesperson and patron for various charities and foundations. With her social and royal connections and outgoing personality, surely Ferguson would be a great addition to any board or enterprise. Unfortunately for her, the newest Epstein files paints a picture of someone who was needy, uninitiated in the world of business, bad with money, and who was not above asking rich friends for loans, all couched in embarrassingly cringe language. While we have to say that appearing in the Epstein files is not evidence of wrongdoing, there's no denying that what's come up in relation to Sarah Ferguson looks pretty bad for her. How bad? Well, when you have Jeffrey Epstein describing your situation as an incredible mess, that really is something. It appears that Sarah Ferguson and Jeffrey Epstein were linked for years, both electronically via emails and physically through meetups. Both of these types of interactions also happened during and immediately after the time he was found guilty of the solicitation of a minor. In 2008 and 2009, Epstein was ostensibly in jail for this crime, although he was allowed to leave up to 6 days a week after being granted work release benefits. He wasn't officially released until July 2009, 13 months into his 18-month sentence. In April of that year, however, he was receiving emails from a Sarah, who has since been proven to be Sarah Ferguson, asking if he was available to have a quick cup of tea while she was on a layover. She also refers to him as, "My dear, spectacular and special friend Jeffrey, you are a legend and I am so proud of you." This was in reference to him buying a website for her for a venture called Mother's Army, but it is extremely jarring, coming at a time when most people might be keeping a prudently safe distance. In June 2009, it appears they were about to go into business together, with Ferguson being listed as the director for a company called Mother's Army Limited, described as existing to help amplify the voices of mothers all over the world. Maybe it was the mixture of business and philanthropy that got her confused, but Ferguson was asking Epstein for help from the start. She emailed, "I need to ask you how I start the Mother's Army company so it can be commercial. How do I do that? Can you help me?" Spotting an opportunity to expand to his network and add to his leverage within the House of York, he did help her and worked on a business plan with the intent to become a majority shareholder. It's not without irony that Epstein was trying to own 51% of a company whose aim was to protect children and empower women. An email to Epstein
Is the moon a sliver today?
described Ferguson's situation as big mess, no focus, naive business-wise, no infrastructure, swamped with requests, and short-term unmanageable assignments. On the plus side, he points out that Mother's Army brand would give Epstein the potential to leverage her network for Mother's Army growth, but also other jets deals. In July 2009, Ferguson flew to Palm Beach, Florida with her daughters, 19-year-old
Someone named Casanova.
Princess Beatrice,
Honey, are you like 12? Isn't it your bedtime? You should get off the phone and go to bed. You have school. Oh, wait. Is today Sunday? No, today's Saturday. I guess you don't have school tomorrow, but does your mother know that you're on the internet right now?
Nothing of this situation was referred to in their correspondence, with Ferguson gushing afterwards. "Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I had the best discussion with Target on Friday, and they want desperately the whole Mother's Army project." She also says that Tommy Hilfiger wants to build my entire apparel, fragrance, etc. brand, and sell it on QVC. In just 1 week after your lunch, it seems the energy has lifted. I've never been more touched by a friend's kindness than your compliment to me in front of my girls. Thank you, Jeffrey, for being the brother I have.
Tuk Tuk. Suki, are you in here? She's almost like causing trouble. Oy, my knees. Dude, these colors are so pretty. Did my propane go out? Oi. Getting like one of those zits on the side. Oh, damn, look at my veins. Getting a zit on the side of my temple. It hurts like a bitch. I'm gonna go to TikTok so that I can watch like copywritten stuff because I want to watch something copywritten. So switch over. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, if you want to join me on TikTok, the account is Lean Into the Cringe, all one word. If you go to Subliminal Locks TikTok, you'll find a link to my other TikTok. I love you.